So normally when I do these reviews, I have the entire thing written out, pre-planned. It's all scripted. I sit down on that couch, I record into the camera, and then I edit the video. This week is going to be a little bit different because last Wednesday I had a spill on a scooter after work and injured my left hand. So typing has been very, very difficult, as I'm sure you can imagine. It actually hurts pretty significantly when I type. So for this particular video, I can't really do that. So instead, what I'm going to do is just talk into the camera, freeform, kind of just lay my thoughts about the movie out there, and we'll see how it goes. This is very different for me because I've been doing my videos so consistently for such a long period of time. Not really sure how it's going to go. If you have any feedback or thoughts on this particular type of style, please let me know down in the comments. Let me know what you prefer, what I can do better, because if this video goes well and if I get comfortable doing this, I'd like to do future videos like this as well. Not necessarily all the time, but maybe on particular topics or subjects where I can kind of put my thoughts in my head as opposed to having them write them down on paper. So let me know what you think and let's get into the video. Before we get started, thank you so much for checking out the video. Make sure to click the red subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you know whenever I post a new piece of content. Chris Pratt has become something of a superstar over the course of, I'd say, the last 6 or 7 years. Really, this started, I'd say, with Guardians of the Galaxy, and then really accelerated when he was in Jurassic World. I didn't know anything about Pratt before Guardians of the Galaxy. I knew that he was in Parks and Rec vaguely, but I never watched that show. And I also knew that he was in Wanted. That's the James McAvoy movie. He plays the sleazy coworker who he's kind of friends with, his girlfriend cheats on him with, and he gets hit in the face with a keyboard in that movie. It's like his only memorable scene that I can even remember uh, up until Guardians. He's been really, really good at choosing projects in that span of time. I'd say that the Tomorrow War is probably his biggest misstep. I'd say it's definitely his biggest misstep. Not only is it his worst movie, it's probably the worst movie of 2021 outside of Space Jam, and link in description for my review of that movie because it sucks. Nothing about this movie works with one exception. The monsters, the creatures, the aliens look really cool. I like their design as far as Alien Menace from Outer Space goes. Outer Space, which we'll get into later. They're cool. They look great. They're like it's kind of like nasty dark shade of white, where they have these limbs that shoot projectiles, and they're very like scary and somewhat intelligent. And I like the design. I do. I'm a sucker for that. It's the only thing that I enjoyed about this movie. Chris Pratt is fine given the material he has to work with. That doesn't mean this movie is good. This doesn't mean that he's great in it because the material's just trash. The script is garbage. It's formulaic, which is funny because the concept of the movie, this idea of future soldiers coming back in time to recruit regular people to come fight in the future. It's kind of a cool idea on paper, but as the movie fleshes it out, it quickly unravels into a mess. The movie is shot like a TV commercial that's just more than 2 hours long. The twists that it has simply don't work. I'm going to spoil the movie, so might as well know that going into it. The big twist is that his daughter in the present timeline is also in the future, but now she's like this military commander, and it doesn't work. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. It doesn't make any sense. It's not well explained. It's not well fleshed out, and I didn't care. J.K. Simmons is in this movie. He's great in basically everything, even if the movie's trash. He's made some questionable decisions since he won his Best Supporting Actor Oscar for Whiplash. He was in Terminator Genesis, which is not a good movie. He's in the Batman versus Superman / Justice League DC universe, whatever you want to call that. And he's fine as Commissioner Gordon. But the problem is he just hasn't made good decisions when it comes to the movies he's chosen since Whiplash. So I'm not a big fan of his choices in regards to roles, but he's good in this for the character that he plays. He plays Chris Pratt's grizzled old dad who he doesn't have a relationship with, and that part of it works until the end of the movie. Now, the ending of this movie is legitimately one of the worst I've ever seen. Basically, they figure out that the aliens are not from space, they are from Earth. They've been frozen. Their spaceship was frozen in the Arctic. Now, you're probably thinking this has been done before, and you'd be correct. This was done in the Antarctic in The Thing, which came out in the 80s, and that movie is way better than this one. So if you want to watch a movie that's better than The Tomorrow War, go watch The Thing. Link in description for my review of that. Movie's way better. The ending of this movie, they get to the Arctic and they find the spaceship buried in ice, and they have made this virus. A big part of the movie, the big story, is that they make this chemical virus that will destroy the aliens from the inside out. And they go to the spaceship, which is crash landed, and they go inside and they decide to inject each of the pods, like the cryo pods where the aliens are, with the virus and kill them, each individually. Clearly, they don't have enough to do the job in the beginning. So they have all these explosives, and you would think that with the amount of explosives that they bring to the Arctic, they would just blow up the ship. But instead, they decide to inject each individual pod. And it's among the dumber decisions that I've seen a movie character or a group of movie characters decide to make, and it doesn't work. The other thing is the very end of this movie, Chris Pratt and his dad, the J.K. Simmons character, are fighting the big bad female alien. And it's been established throughout the course of the movie that these things are basically unkillable. And Chris Pratt has one of the injectors, or two of the injectors, so he can inject the alien with the virus and kill it, and a knife. And they're out of bullets. And they basically fight this creature, 2 humans on one, which would never work. This alien would kill them in a span of 4.5 seconds. And they somehow managed to inject the alien in the arm, and it rips its own arm off to survive. And so that's like a fake out. And then at one point, and this really does happen in the movie, he jumps on the back of the alien and slices its throat. It's really poorly shot. It's the whole thing is like a big bad boss fight that tries way too hard to seem like it's doing something cool. The dad does the fake sacrifice play where he's like, no, kill me instead, to the alien, and then Chris Pratt jumps on its back, and then they end up shoving one of the canisters into its mouth, and it kills the thing, and then it falls off a cliff, and you're like, okay, that's cool, great. And then for some reason it hits a rock and just explodes. Just guts everywhere, alien explodes and dies. The whole thing is just so laughably bad that the ending of the movie really exemplifies just how stupid the preceding 2 hours were. And Amazon really has a bit of a problem with their original content right now. They've done good things. I think The Man in the High Castle is a fantastic show. They have The Lord of the Rings, which they are pouring hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars into to make a massive, like, pre-Lord of the Rings Middle-earth series, which is coming out next year. They've dumped all sorts of money into it, so we'll see how that goes. But a lot of their stuff has produced mixed results. I think that this movie is very bad. I did a review of Without Remorse, link in description. That's the Michael B. Jordan movie, which was okay, somewhere between mediocre and decent. But they haven't really put out a solid blockbuster film that they've done themselves at this point. Netflix has fared far better with their original content than Amazon has so far. So, yeah, The Tomorrow War, I would say this movie out of 10, I'd give it like a 2 or a 3. It's really close to being unwatchable. It's a big misstep for Pratt. I think he'll be just fine. I mean, he's going to star in more Guardians movies. He's going to be in the Marvel universe for a while, and I just think this was a bad misstep for him. So that's my review of The Tomorrow War. It sucks. Don't watch it ever. Thanks so much for checking out the review. If you found it helpful or you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing to the channel. You can also like and share the video. That tells YouTube it's worth promoting. Please let me know down in the comments what you think of the format. If you prefer this, I know it's a little janky. It's my first time doing it this way, but let me know what you think. And once I'm all healed up, I will go back to the written out, more scripted reviews. So let me know what you think, and see you next Wednesday, 9 a.m.